Hi everybody, Brooklyn GOP Radio on video this time. Gene Berardelli and Russell Gallo with Congressman Steve Stockman from the great state of Texas. Congressman, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, I just want to get your impressions on this year's CPAC first and foremost.
I think you and I have been going to CPAC for a while, and it's nice to come here. However, I don't think CPAC is not the moderate political convention; it's the conservative, and I don't know how you feel, but I feel like we're opening doors so wide that we're not really focusing on the conservative part of the CPAC. That's my opinion.
No, I definitely see what you're saying with that. But I think we're also seeing attendance is kind of down.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that there's really no foreign policy discussions here this year. Right. Are we on the right track in the conservative movement if we're not really talking about foreign policy, if we're not talking about, if we're pushing the women's forum to 20 minutes before the end of CPAC? I mean, it doesn't seem like we're focused.
No, and I think once again, the people that are in the middle that think you can win elections by only playing defense are mistaken. When House Republicans went on offense and was aggressive with Obamacare, our polling numbers went up. Today now, the Democrats' generic poll is above us. It's because we're not giving anybody any reason to vote for us. We're not fighting, and I call the Karl Rove method, which is just hoping that we don't screw it up and we head to the elections.
And speaking of elections, how likely are we to get control of the Senate?
I just noticed you're wearing the hat.
Just noticed it.
Yeah.
Where you been?
It is a very good thing he's wearing that hat. Makes me feel like I'm at home.
So answer it again, Russ. Go ahead.
Yes. So the Senate, how likely are we?
I think we'll get the Senate unless we continue not to articulate our message, then we'll lose the Senate. It's funny. Our friends in the moderate part of the Republican Party like to point to just several races and saying this shows you we shouldn't support conservatives. But in truth, let's be honest, Romney lost their election, and he was the ideal moderate candidate. So even when they had their ideal candidate, we didn't win. I think we need to go back to basics, focus on things that get people passionate. One of the reasons we lost this last election was because the conservatives didn't turn out and vote because there was no reason to get up off their chair. Independents, we won. We were always told, if you win independents, you're going to win the election. We won independent vote, and we lost the election. And millions of people stayed home because they had no reason to vote.
We didn't secure our base. And so if we did get control of the Senate.
By the way, Obama was very good about controlling his base and turning his base out.
They do a much better job than
that. Yeah. I mean,
and especially in New York, I know that you're on the Second Amendment Task Force.
Right.
And New York, last year, the passage of the SAFE Act, and it's now being challenged in court, the whole idiotic idea, the gun grabbing act, the whole idiotic idea of 7 bullets in your chamber and 10 in Remington is leaving New York. I mean,
which we actually sent him a letter asking him to move to my district.
So you're the one.
I wish they didn't.
Well,
we do have $52 billion in new construction just in my congressional district.
Well, that's fantastic.
I was going to sign up for the gun raffle you were doing, but I figured I'd get locked up if I wanted it in Brooklyn.
Or you get put on a list, right? It's unreal. We are in the belly of the beast in Brooklyn, New York, that's for sure. Tell us what it's like to live in a state where actually your rights are respected, like your Second Amendment rights.
Well, it's amazing because our crime rate is a lot lower. We have a lot less break-ins because we had one, which you can also Google and find on the internet. It's very fascinating. The guy says, they're breaking into my neighbor's house. They're breaking into my neighbor's house. He said, and he's telling the cops, as they say, we're on our way. He says, no, wait a minute, I'll take care of it. And you can hear, ba-boom, ba-boom. He says, you don't need the cops anymore. And then this is the unbelievable part.
That's like culture shock to me, though.
Yeah, but they no-billed him, said, hey, you're protecting your property, your neighbor's property. But here's the amazing thing, is it turns out he was from South America. His profession was breaking into Americans' home, collecting their stuff, and then selling it and going back to it. And they interviewed his wife, and they said he was just doing his job.
Unreal.
He's not doing it anymore in Texas.
Good. Last question I want to ask you. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the State of the Union and you walking out. The reason why we love you on the show, you never pull punches and you always speak your mind and you always do what you think is right. What was going through your mind when, during the State of the Union, it got to the point where you just said, I gotta go?
Well, in truth, we had a copy of the speech, and I was reading the head part of it, and the president is saying that he's going to do things his way, regardless of Congress, and I don't think that's very Jeffersonian. That's not the vision of the founding fathers. And so I saw, this is something I shouldn't tolerate, and I didn't want. I could have yelled out, "I guess you lied," but someone's done that before, and I decided to get up and walk out. Now, oddly, this is the second time I walked out, but for some reason this time was more noticed.
Yeah, it was. I was saying to myself when I saw it, that's the Steve Stockman I knew from last year at CPAC, and we're so happy to have you come back, be our friend of the show. And
well, I hope your show's picked up on all the stations, that New York becomes conservative. Okay, that's right. I was taking drugs earlier, apparently.
Let's go.
Brother, say if you can make that happen, make it happen. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks.
And for more great content like this, go to brooklyngOPradio.blogspot.com and check out our show Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio.
The best show you can watch.